Welcome to Screen Blast Repeat. In today's video we're going to be looking at the top 7 darkest albums of 2025, and let's be honest, this award is not like the other accolades. Is it something its recipient should carry as a source of pride? We don't score these albums out of 10, and it's not always the best LPs that appear in the higher positions on this list, but we recognise that the creation of art can be a personal experience, and those artists that delve into the darkest recesses of the human mind deserve to be acknowledged. Sometimes their music falls into misanthropy, misery and mayhem, yet it can also find a ruminating quality in the quiet solitude of melancholia. In the age of Spotify playlists and TikTok shorts, you could argue that the album means nothing to the generation raised in the age of digital consumption. We should be clear, the idea of a listening experience of songs collected into a chronology and presented to the listener as a linear event is what makes the album concept so special. This is at the forefront of our thinking when choosing the records in this list. So these are the Screen Blast Repeat Top 7 Darkest Albums of 2025. And at number 7 we're going to go to England for the mathcore post-metal act Pupil Slicer with their album Fleshwork, released on the 7th of November via Prosthetic Records. Those expecting a progression from 2023's Blossom LP will wonder what might have been. The shoegaze and prog metal aspects of that record are absent here. Pupil Slicer lean into the low-end frequencies with alacrity for most of Fleshwork, none more so than in the tremor of the title track. Kate Davis's vitriolic roars are as unnerving as the survivor guilt of a person who escaped with her life in a massacre that wiped out her friends and colleagues. The swell of the bass strings adds another layer of hostility to the pounding audio assault. Belated attempts to bring light to the darkness in penultimate track White Noise are hard to absorb. At number 6 we have the German black metal band Der Weg einer Freiheit with their album Innern, released on the 12th of September via Season of Mist. This is metal that sees no need to use the axe as the main weapon of coordination. Creating a dark mood of contemplation is more important for existential music of this nature. Der Weg einer Freiheit want you to join them on their journey of self-discovery, and you must overcome the anguish and fear with them to grow stronger. There's no doubt this band can create a funereal mood with stripped back instrumentation, which is one of the hardest things to do in music. At number 5 we're going back to England for the atmospheric sludge metal band Wren with their album Black Rain Falls. It was released on the 21st of February via Church Road Records. Black Rain Falls is not a resignation to infinite alienation. Remember, post-metal is about accepting the world as it is rather than as it should be, yet it expects you to unleash your aggression to acknowledge the state of affairs. You don't even notice the sluggish doom metal tempo when you're caught up in the despair of another person's mind. Start digging a grave with your hands in the earth and ask no questions. There'll be time for that later. At number 4 we're going to the United States. The band is Azel with their Death Doom album Astralis, released on the 17th of October via Rottweiler Records. Aggression levels reach the heights of a post-metal rage, but the distorted doom vibe has an ethereal quality to it that's unusual for instruments tuned so low in their range. Conan and Primitive Man don't possess these astral audio qualities. There's nothing tedious about this music in the first third of the record, despite them employing the same tempo and lack of sharp guitar riffing. That's because the action is intense and bursting with excess aggression. The lyrics read like an audit of all that perished on Earth after a series of cataclysmic events. We're staying in the United States for number 3, and it's the project of New York dark ambient artist Dave Brenner with his Grid Failure project, and the album is called Sixth Mass Extinction Skullduggery 3, released on the 3rd of October via Nefarious Industries. So the key to understanding Grid Failure is recognizing that they use the aggression of metal and hardcore, but none of the dynamics. There are no solid drum beats or muscular guitars. Even the shouting comes filtered through many reverb effects with extra distortion. An eerie darkness anchored in the anxiety of the unknown is the outcome, and it's fair to say this is a human condition of our secular age. You'd call it a success if the aim is to recreate the last few minutes of the Titanic sinking to the bottom of the ocean. At number 2, We have the English extreme metal band Believe in Nothing with their album Rot, released on the 31st of October via Church Road Records. The atmospheric black metal leanings of the song Meth are fascinating in the way they remain anchored in panic mode. Bass notes gargle like spumes of lava, drum cymbals clatter in ominous ruin, the guitar shapes resemble air vent failures at a coal-fired power plant. Of course, this music is bad for your health. That's why you search for it in hope. Can you imagine a world where bleak sludge metal is the only music available for consumption? Your nerves would snap. And so we come to the solemn ceremony, announcing the number one darkest album of 2025. And the accolade this year, if you can call it that, goes to avant-garde noise metal legends Today Is the Day with their album Never Give In. It was released on the 3rd of October via Supernova Records. Never Give In is an emotional ride that'll leave you with shaky hands and a twitch in your eye. If this is alternative rock, it's a harrowing interpretation that'll make you tear the hair from your head with callous fingers. We can only hope the author of these songs is not falling apart through glimpsing into the psyche of the damaged people that fascinate him so much. So there you have it. Congratulations, if they're really in order, to Today Is the Day for their masterpiece album, which has landed the number one spot in the darkest albums of 2025. Let's also look at the 5 that nearly made these lists. These are also recommended if you want something fiendishly dark, depressing, miserable, misanthropic, you name it, any negative term. And sometimes that's the music we need, isn't it? So these are the 5 that also stood out for me in 2025. Acceptance, Crucifixion of Orchids. Defacement with their album Doomed. False Gods with their album Lost in Darkness and Distance. Revenge with their record Violation, Strife, Abominate. And Vacuous with their sophomore LP In His Blood. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe to the Scream Blast Repeat YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook and look out for our next video where we celebrate the best records of 2025. Take care.